midweek conversation. My name's Lisa and I'm from the YouTube channel A Life Full of Meaning. We've got Paul from Narrowboat Life Unlocked and Maxine from Never Too Late, Our Journey. Is that right? I always panic on your channel that I'm going to get it all around the wrong way, but thank you for being here this week. Hello to anybody who's listening for the first time, and also hello and welcome if you're returning. So this week it's all about technology. I have been so looking forward to that. But before we start, why don't we just catch up and see what we've been up to this week? Paul, what have you been doing?
Yeah, we've been exploring the local area. We've been into Skipton. So we're still on the narrowboat, and I've just been catching up with my artwork and making new friends on the canal system, which is really good.
Nice. Maxine, you're joining us from your holiday, so thanks for that. Where are you?
We've come up to Whitby for a few days because it's Steve's birthday. So we started off the week at home on Monday and got the house all on the market and everything. So fingers crossed that's all going through, because we think we might have sold it as well. So we're in Whitby for a few days. So just trying to chill out. But where we ended up staying, it's like a building site. But we're going for a nice long calming walk soon.
Oh, well, I hope it quietens down. I have been going backwards and forwards from the boat. We've been emptying the boat, moving everything into the house. I think we're almost there. Just one more carload, I think, and then we're there. But that doesn't mean we're ready to move in. Oh no, we have a couple of weeks out on the boat. The boat's empty. I've left like one plate, well, two plates, two knives and forks, and we're muddling along. That's all I can say. It's been chaos, but anyway.
How far is it, Lisa, from the house to the boat?
It's about 50 minutes.
Oh, wow.
About 50 minutes. So it just means like stuff is just scattered between the house, between Debbie's where we've been staying also, and between the boat. And it's just like living in chaos. That's,
It'll soon be over. The chaos will be over.
That's what I keep saying. Soon be over. This isn't permanent. That's what I keep telling myself. So it's because it's been so busy. I've been looking forward to this hour of conversation so much this week. Not only do I get to chat to you guys, but I get to sit down and have a cup of tea as well. So all good. So technology. What role does it play in our lives? Do we see it as a good or a bad thing? What don't we like about it? And are we going to be taken over by robots is basically what we need to discuss. But first of all, Paul, what role does technology play in your life, and do you love it or hate it?
Oh, do you know, first of all, I've got to admit, I feel like I've been called into the headmaster's office. It's like, and I've got to confess how much time I've spent on on my phone. Screen time I've been checking, and to be honest, I thought you mentioned maybe having a day off from technology, and I thought that sounds like a really good idea. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't even have an hour off from technology.
I suggested it. I couldn't do it either. No. So but before we touch on social media and our phones particularly, because I think there's a whole conversation around those. How do you feel about technology as it is? And I mean, we can't get past the fact that we're having this conversation over the internet. We're streaming to Facebook and to YouTube. We're having, people can watch us and they can comment. We can't get past that. Technology, I love this aspect of technology. Maxine's nodding too.
Yeah,
are you the same?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic how you can interact with, doesn't matter where anybody lives in the world, you can interact with them, and family as well, and especially because of obviously what we've had over the last couple of years, you can still physically see them as well as talk to them, and I think that's quite important, and show people things as well. If you want, you can describe stuff, but if you can physically show people as well, it helps.
I love technology for that. I love it. and we're all vloggers, so we all on a digital camera record stuff, we edit it and we put it out there on a platform. So we can't knock technology too much because there's aspects of it that we all love.
Yeah. I think you're right, definitely. I mean, I find technology is amazing. You can learn things, you can learn a new skill, you can interact with friends and family. During COVID, we've made new friends that Anthony, my partner, has never met physically, but we got to meet over the internet, and we'd have a game on Zoom, and it just felt like a really social evening. So technology, can be amazing. One good thing when you move on to a narrowboat, a lot of people say, "Oh, have you got internet?" Which we have, and I think maybe 20 years ago, I couldn't have run a business from a narrowboat. I don't think that would have been possible. But now we know with technology, we can stream TV. I can run a business. I've got an online shop that I can operate from the boat. And all right, I physically have to go to a post office to post those products off. But that would have been impossible, I think, 20 years ago. And do you remember the first time we got computers and it used to take half an hour just to connect?
Yeah. I mean, we're like, if something doesn't connect within seconds now, we're frustrated, aren't we?
Yeah, we've become more impatient, I think, haven't we? And we rely on technology so much that we expect it to be super fast and super fast internet, which, there's no reason why it shouldn't be, even on a narrowboat.
Do you think we're more demanding now of our technology?
Yeah,
we
definitely.
expect it to work. I mean, if you think back to when the Facebook outage a couple of weeks ago, I mean, we demand so much more now from technology, don't we?
I think the danger is as well, because I've been self-employed all of my adult life. When technology came along and people could email you and WhatsApp you and text you, you always felt like you were sort of on call and had to respond straight away. And then I read somewhere that, you don't want to become a slave to it. If a customer contacts you at 11 o'clock and you're just about to go to bed, but then that's on my mind. I think, I'd rather reply now. But you should have you should not be not be a slave to your technology, and try and that's the thing, isn't it? People can reach you at any time, and I think they expect an answer straight away to an inquiry, and it was quite difficult for me to leave it till the next day and maybe just do 9 to 5.
I think that's incredibly difficult. I've got some stuff that I want to talk about that, especially about that whole messages coming in. But I want to hold off for a second. Maxine, how do you feel about technology in different aspects of so for example, when you go out in your car, you park in a car park and there's a Ringo or a pot, and you put an app in, and then that's all sorted, you haven't got any coins. Do you find that an up or a down?
I think it's an up. I love technology. I used to work in technology, and so I get a buzz and things like that. And I know it takes over too much of my life. But my husband, Steve, he absolutely detests it. It doesn't interest him, and he struggles with it. And so, I mean, luckily, I can take over and things like that. So I think for some people, yes, it's a real quick bonus because you can do things much, much quicker. But and other people, it can bring on anxiety and they panic, and it can upset their routines and things like that. And I think it's just finding that happy medium with people. And I think people expect everybody to be able to do things on computers and apps and things like that these days. But not everybody's that way inclined. They don't enjoy it, and it doesn't find an interest with them. And I think because everything's going to technical, it can leave people out of things. And it's not fair, and I think that's where the customer service and everything falters now, because we're left to do everything ourselves through different internet and different apps and things like that, and so you don't physically speak to a person. And so I think that's where there's a big breakdown now within everything sort of thing.
Paul, when we were speaking earlier, you were saying that exact thing, weren't you? That it can often be isolating for people who haven't got the, a smartphone, or they're just not familiar with technology. I'm thinking about things like track and trace.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a phone, or you're not familiar with just pulling out your phone and taking a picture of that code, and and there's a whole lot of people that haven't got that. I mean, it just must put you off. You must think, well, I can't be bothered to go out because I haven't got the the track and
Yeah.
trace, or I haven't got that
Yeah,
app, or
definitely.
just not understanding it. I think it can be really isolating as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm quite surprised my dad doesn't have a mobile phone because, he's still driving, and he'll go to pick up my sister, and then she's going to be an hour late, and he gets really frustrated. Whereas if he had a mobile phone, she could contact him and give him an update. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I just don't think, my dad's not into technology at all. And, I think anyone would soon get used to a mobile phone, wouldn't they? Because we know ourselves, children pick things up so quickly.
Yeah.
My father's the same, Paul. He won't carry a phone. He's got one, but it stays on the
Yeah.
side in the house.
Yeah.
And he just hates it, and he refuses bluntly to use one. My mum uses one, and she can FaceTime and everything. She's really good with them. But my father, father, he just no chance. He just when he was at work, he had a laptop. It was a desktop, and he used to just carry that around with him from office to office. It never ever came out of the box until he retired. It was brand new, and he used to just put it under his arm and go to his next office. He refused bluntly. He didn't like it and wouldn't use it.
I'm just having a look at some of the comments. So hello to the big chip. Wendy and Magnus, you can even stream all the way to us here. It makes the world so small. Yeah, absolutely. And hello to you both. Let me just see. Technology is amazing when it works well. Yeah, as we discussed. There's nothing like being so frustrated when it doesn't work. I have actually wandered the towpath at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning with my laptop trying to upload a vlog, and it's almost like I'm praying to the internet gods, and it's that doesn't.
Yeah, that's definitely frustrating. The marina that we were in, it was near a town, and it was near two masts, and you'd think the internet would be great, but it fell just short. And I think it's to do when you're just slightly in the middle of the two masts, it sort of doesn't, which anyway, somebody told us that the internet was pants. And it even put us off going back to that marina this winter because, it's important to have good internet for my business, but also what I didn't want to, I think it took 72 hours to upload a vlog once. And then, and you're forever checking it, and it takes over your whole week. Whereas we can be out on the canal system and it can take 10, 15 minutes to upload a vlog. It's crazy. It's great when it works.
I love technology when it works. I love it so much. So technology is here. I mean, it is here. Can I just say, before we move on to social media, which is a whole topic in itself, that you may have seen on our vlogs, there's little robots that roam the streets around here. I don't know if they do in Milton Keynes, they do in Northampton. I don't know if we're the only two places in the UK, but these little white robots, you basically order stuff from local shops like Tesco's or Co-op, or a local takeaway. You order it on the app, they put it in the robot makes its way and delivers it to your door. Amazing. Or is it? I don't know. I'm undecided on whether the robots are a good thing. I'm undecided.
But
anyway.
then again, Lisa, you think about it. When you get mail from a postman, especially people who are living on their own, they like that interaction, don't they? They like to chat to someone. And isn't it the same when we go to the supermarkets? And again, that's technology where we're sort of forced to go to the self-service checkouts because there's only two tills open and the lines are massive. But the people... And when I used to work from home, I would be on my own Monday to Friday and sometimes have no interaction with anyone. And I used to quite like going, to the gym, but then I'd go shopping, and I'm quite a chatty person. I think we all are. And I used to like that interaction with the people at the till. But now you feel like, you're forced to go and do your self-serve and not chat to a human being.
I know. And I just can't help but thinking of older people as well who are on their own for a majority of the time, how important that is. But you're right, there's a whole load of people now working from home who have been in a busy office environment who are on their own. So I think we can't downplay the importance of in-person interaction.
Yeah.
We can't.
And it's the whole
so
online
important.
banking thing as well, isn't it? They're closing down local banks and post offices, and a lot of elderly people who don't have transport relied on that, where they could walk to the local post office or local bank. So that may be a bad thing, but
I think there are, you know, I think it's difficult. One of my biggest fears, and I'm not the only one that thinks this, my friend Dawn, who's actually lives down the road from here, she said the same thing, is my fear is being left behind with technology. So I mean, I'm no techno whiz, right? But I'm all right on technology. I can work stuff out. I taught myself how to edit video by watching YouTube videos. I'm all right. My biggest fear is that when things move on, that I'm like, oh, yeah. For example, if we talk about social media platforms, when TikTok came around, I was like, oh, yeah, do that. And now I was like, oh, it's not for me. And then I think, what if in 5 years everybody's over there and I've stayed here, and then it's moved on? That's a serious concern to me. I want to stay up on my tech game. So have you ever thought about that? Or is that just me?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you there, Lisa. And I think the bonus, because you've got young grandchildren, so hopefully they will help you. Which is it is useful, because the youngsters, I mean, they just pick things up so quickly, and they're into everything. So it's getting the little ones to help us as we get older to learn different things.
I need them for their like I wouldn't know what Roblox was if it wasn't for them. It took me ahead to get round Roblox and that sort of game thing. But you're right. The kids are where it's at. We need young people in our lives. Without doubt.
You're talking about Roblox. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I was just going to ask that.
I feel all on trend.
I was quite surprised, Lisa, as well, when you said, when's the last time that you pick your phone up to your ear? Because I still do.
I can't think of anyone who rings me for that sort of call. It's always that sort of call. So.
Which is nice, isn't it? I think it's nicer. And that's the amazing thing. How much have we advanced in phone technology? I remember going to Alton Towers theme park, and I had this phone that was like a brick with a big rubber aerial on it. And believe it or not, I was the only person at the whole theme park with a mobile phone. And when it rang, I was really embarrassed because hundreds of people were looking at me. And I went and hid in a doorway, and I'm taking this call. And I thought, they're just going to be calling me like some yuppie. And it was a wrong number anyway. Somebody leaving a request for a radio station.
That is hilarious. Glenn used to sell mobile phones back in the 80s. And so we always had, the phones, the Motorola 8000S and the 8500. I remember them all. Well, not all, but I remember those big ones. And Glenn used to fit, car phones and all
and
of
the
that.
aerials. I was surprised you mentioned the aerials on the windscreens. I'd completely forgotten about those. You had a mobile phone in your car, you had to have the external aerials, didn't you?
That's it. Yeah, we went to a museum a couple of weeks ago, and Glenn was like, oh yes, that aerial. And that's like, I was like, oh, Glenn, you're showing your age now. This is a museum piece, this So let me Motorhomes R Us says, wow, never seen the robots. Oh, you should. They are amazing. I think they're called Starship Enterprise or something like that. I'm sure if you Google them, they'll come up.
They do look amazing.
Watch our videos. I'm sure there'll be one featuring. As soon as we're in this house, I'm going to get a robot delivery because I just want to try it out. So hello to the Narrowboat Pirate. And here's a comment from Alan. It seems very unfair to the retired people that they must be able to do things online, paying bills, buying goods, etc. My wife hates the prospect of a non-human controlled world. That's exactly what we were saying, Alan, and I see your point entirely. So
Yeah,
Right.
my dad. So, for instance,
Yeah.
my dad, he goes out sort of 5 times a day in his car, and he'll
Yeah.
go to the post office, he'll go to the bank, and he'll go and pick up his
Yeah.
prescription, and all these things that he could do online and have
Yeah.
delivered. And I said to him, you would save so much time, but he
Yeah.
enjoys going out and doing these
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
jobs
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
having that interaction.
Yeah.
And also, you were saying about falling behind with technology. My dad's
Mm.
just ordered a new car, but he didn't want one with all the fancy gadgets on it because he doesn't want the auto start and stop, and he doesn't
Yeah.
want, because he's in his 70s
Yeah.
and he's used to that way of driving.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's difficult. That comes back to flexibility, doesn't it? Of like how we sort of, grow and change. Right. There is no way we can avoid it. We have to address the elephant in the room, social media. I mean, there's technology and then there's social media.
Yeah.
And particularly social media that we access on our phones.
Yeah.
So last week, after we'd done the call, we all spoke, didn't we, about this? And Paul, you suggested that we have a look at how long we spend on our phone. So if you've got an iPhone, I don't know about Android, you can see how long you spend on your phone per day, or your weekly average, and also how many times you pick it up, and what are the platforms that you spend the most time on. Who's going to go first?
Can I go first and get it over with? I'm hoping that you two are worse, so I don't feel as bad. My daily average last week. So I stuck to my normal routine. I didn't say I was going to have a day free of, I suggested, you suggested a day free of technology. I really wanted to try. So I know I'd enjoy it. So my daily average last week was 6 hours, 41 minutes of screen time. Right. And
on your phone.
Yeah. Okay. I'm waiting for the gasp. And but I did delete TikTok.
Yeah.
I deleted TikTok because, to be honest, I downloaded TikTok so that I would hope to promote our YouTube channel and my artwork. Yeah. But then I found I was spending way too much time looking at funny videos. So I deleted that. And it was an hour and 13 of social. This is just from yesterday as an example. It was an hour and 13 on social media, 50 minutes on creativity, which I'm quite pleased about, and 42 minutes on entertainment. But it's scary, isn't it?
It is. Maxine, how did you do?
It's gone down by 36%.
It's gone down 36%. Well done.
I was doing far too much on it. So I literally left it behind when we went out shopping and things like that, which I never would do. Because as soon as we're in the car, I pick it up, because Steve usually drives, and I start messing about on it. So I left it at home on a few occasions, just to stop myself. And the first time I did it, I felt lost. It was really pathetic. I really felt, what happened if somebody tries to get hold of me? What are they going to do? And just went into and I thought, no, this is stupid. So I'm going to carry on continuously to stop taking it out with me as much. And the other thing I do is I've got a timer on my watch, so I do not look at it for about, I think I kept doing it in 20-minute intervals, because if I hear a ping, I'll pick it up. And it's just got to stop because it was just getting stupid.
Maxine, you took this seriously, didn't you? I think, Maxine, you deserve a gold star there. Well done.
Oh, bottom of the class. I just know it.
Well, I've just got to say that I have been actively trying to decrease the amount of times that I use my phone. I've got to say, though, I spend a majority of the day on my laptop. So my phone is like, if I'm on my laptop, probably, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 hours a day. I thought my phone use would be tiny, minuscule. And also, my phone's gone flat a few times, and I initially had that sort of resistance that you had. And now when my phone goes flat, it's lovely. It's like an amazing feeling. So when I looked at my phone usage, I thought, this is going to be nothing. So
come on, Lisa, don't let me down.
Okay. So this in the last week, 3 hours, 8 minutes. daily average. But don't forget, Paul, I'm on my laptop for another 5 of those, which is 22% down from last week. So that's going the right way. The one thing that shocked me was the amount of times I picked my phone up. I looked on Monday, I picked my phone up 80 times. 80.
Where'd you find that, Lisa?
I scrolled down on that where it says the time. I scrolled down and it said pickups right at the bottom. Can you see it?
I'm on my screen time.
Wow.
Just for one day.
Maxine, have you just checked? Have you?
101.
Oh, 101. Paul, can you find it?
No, I'll keep looking. Mine's probably way down.
Way down. It's right at the bottom.
Oh.
How many times?
I beat you, Lisa.
What you got?
89 times.
89.
That's terrible.
In one day.
Maxine's the winner with, what was it, 103?
101.
101.
Oh, Maxine, you've got a problem.
I told you. And that's what I knew. That's why I've started leaving it.
Yeah.
A couple of things, though. I mentioned to you last week, I went into Skipton and Auntie went to the barber's and I thought, I'll go and sit in a coffee shop and have it ended up being a pub because we went for lunch. And I ordered a coffee and I'd forgotten to take my mobile phone out with me. And I thought, well, that's not a bad thing, especially, we're trying to cut down on mobile phone use. And I sat there for 35 minutes just looking at the carpet and smiling at the dog like some crazy person. And it was like, what do I do? And I thought, what if Anthony doesn't know I'm in this coffee shop and he comes out the barber's? I'm stuck in Skipton with no way of getting back to the boat. So all this stress was going through my head because I didn't have my mobile phone. And you made a good suggestion, Lisa. If I had a book or a magazine, I'd probably enjoyed that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't know what to say about mobile phone usage. I want to share some research that I read in a book that was all about technology and how it.
Why are you doing that? My technology is letting me down. I just need to plug in my.
You need to plug in. Go on. Well, I'll tell you what. Before I do that, let's have a look at some of the messages. So, there's lots. So, Dale is actually given notice to quit work next March. Well done, Dale. And he'll be on the boat from April to October next year. Love technology, and his new boat is planned with lots of gadgets. I love a good gadget too. So I'm with you there, Dale. Sue says hello. We're hi from Piglets on, is it Reedley Marina Burnley? Motorhomes are us. 4 hours 33 minutes, most on Instagram on my phone. Not sure if that includes my iPad. Maybe you're doubling up there. Carol says, since my husband got his drone, I've become a drone widow. If we go for a walk, the drone comes too. Great for lovely views of the canal, but sometimes I just wish it would just fall in. Carol, that's so funny. So let's just have a look at this one. Technology without the support of someone who is tech inclined nearby can be so challenging. It can put older people off, but without it, one is out of sync. Fear of missing out addicts us. Yeah, absolutely. That might be me too as well. So agree with all of that. So are you plugged in now, Paul?
I am. Sorry.
You got power. No, that's good. That's good. So the research I was reading in this book showed that, well, there's a couple of things I wanted to share. It showed that if a mobile phone was on the table, then conversation was likely to be kept at a lighter level. So it's a subconscious thing that if we sit down with someone and their phone's on the table, even if it's switched off, the visual cue of a phone on the table, we have this feeling that we're going to be interrupted. So we tend to keep conversation light. So that was one study they featured. The other was, there was so much in this book. I've now forgotten it. I've promptly forgotten the second thing. It was.
But what I'm thinking, that's a really good point, isn't it? Because you see so many families out at restaurants, they're all on their mobile phones, not talking to each other. But that's an interesting point you brought up.
I know. And I find it really hard not to be judgmental. I hate being judgmental. I hate it. I went out on Sunday night and there was a couple in my eye line, and both of them, they didn't say one word to each other. There was just on their phone. And I was like, no, they're just, don't judge. But I'm thinking, I'm judging.
Yeah.
But the other thing, and this was really interesting. So conversations tend to be like a proper good conversation, like we have here. They're not, as I've said before, they're not linear. They're not neat. Like, to learn something in a really good conversation, you might go around the houses. There might be long periods of silence. And our likelihood when we're communicating via text or email is we tidy up our conversations. Do you see what I mean? So everything becomes quite sanitized, because it's all about efficiency rather than the value of the conversation. So that was another thing they discussed in the book, which I'm going to keep reading as soon as I find it. I've lost it in all the packing, but that really interested me, how it's changing the way we have conversations.
Yeah. And interact. I feel sorry for young people because, when going back to when we were younger and you saw someone you were attracted to, you had to go over and chat to that person. It took a lot of courage, didn't it? Because you were worried about that fear of rejection. But now it's so easy for young people. It just is, isn't it? I'm saying, they can't have the conversation. They've got to be on the mobile phone to.
People don't know how to talk to each other anymore.
No.
Well, that's a really good point, Maxine, because if you remember last week, and I shared how I learned that, being a confident communicator was not a gift, it was a skill. And I think you're exactly right. This lack of practice that we have, makes us retreat. It makes it easier to always have communications online because we're in control of that. We can craft that, so that it's, as I said, it's like a sanitized version. It's not like proper conversation. But that book is so interesting. There's stuff I want to talk about messages, like you said, Paul, about if a message comes through on your phone of it's almost like the awareness of people waiting for you to get back to them. And I feel that so much. I cannot tell you. I love people who comment on our YouTube channel. I love it so much. The people who comment regularly, they feel, and I see them as our friends, right?
Yeah, same.
And to have loads of messages, not just on YouTube, but then you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, you've got Facebook personal, Facebook page, you've got all the other profiles, all these messages coming in. I get overwhelmed by it so easily. And then I feel guilty because I think these people have taken time to comment. And it's like I've not bothered to get back. So
exactly the same. It's really difficult, isn't it? Yeah, because it's coming in from some, and I suppose we're in control of that, and we could say, turn. Yeah, you're exactly right. Because I'll get comments come in, and I think a bit later on I'll be doing a job, or I think I'll reply to that later. And a good example is I got I made an inquiry for a price for greetings cards. And I spent half an hour yesterday scrolling through all the social. Was it Instagram? Was it Twitter? Was it direct message? Was it WhatsApp? Before I found. And so I suppose that's us not taking control of our technology and honing it down so that we can be more productive. I don't know if you agree, Maxine.
Yeah. I also feel guilty because I use my group and my page for business, and if I don't react to it quickly, I feel guilty for not getting back to them. And I think people expect you to come back to them really quickly. But again, that can affect people with their anxiety and things like that, and so it's not healthy at all, because we've just got into that type of situation now where it's a quick reaction, and it's people just automatically will send a message and expect everybody to come back to you quickly, and if you don't, sometimes people then think, oh, they're not bothered about me, and and they probably are, but they have a life and they're busy and they're not sat on their phones, and it's difficult getting that happy medium.
I did read something the other last year, and I tried it for a while, and it was really good. And it suggested saying in your emails to have an autoresponder that says, I only read my emails from 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. and then 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. to serve you better. Please leave your message and I'll get back to you. And I thought it'd be great if we could do that in the same way that, a few weeks ago, I decided to leave my mobile phone charging in the bedroom and carry on with my work, editing and doing my art. And it was just moving that temptation out of my way. And, I was so much more productive and felt so much better at the end of the day.
Yeah. That is so interesting. What I find, so a couple of years ago, I used to work for a social media agency. So for a living, I used to manage social media accounts. And you get very slick and quick at doing that. You'd get half an hour per platform, and you had to do so many actions, and you had to answer the messages, you had to do posts, you had to manage that platform within half an hour, and you get really quick and good at doing that. And I've often said to myself, why do I not treat my social media platforms in exactly the same way? So I can sit at my computer, I can say, right, half an hour for Facebook and answer all the messages and do that. And then that one's done, tick. But I just don't do it. And it goes back to what we said last week about sometimes we know what we need to do. But I just don't do it. I just don't do it.
We need to do it. We need to do it. We need to be more organised and slim it down, and we will be more productive. You probably sleep better because, you'll remember a comment from somewhere and you can't, and you've lost it, and you can't, and you think, or you'll find a comment from 4 weeks ago, and you think, I feel really bad that I didn't answer that person. And it causes anxiety, and it causes you to lose sleep, and you've got a cluttered mind, then, haven't you? Which doesn't help.
And it feels like it's never switched off, which is why when my phone went flat the other day and I didn't have a charger, I felt this peace descend. It was, it was like my phone couldn't, there was nobody waiting. The difference is that people were still there, obviously waiting, but it was the fact that my phone was switched off. It was the oddest thing. That was in my brain, the way I'm taking that. So
it's not the end of the world, is it?
No.
I think it drives us all crazy when we see people on the mobile phones driving the car. That you're endangering other people's lives as well as your own. When surely it can wait. You don't need to see if someone's commented on your post on Facebook or Instagram while you're driving. It just drives me.
Everything can wait, to be honest, though. I remember, I think it was, I remember reading or listening to a podcast, and the person said, we often say, if there's an emergency, then, I have to have my phone because there might be an emergency. And what this person had said was that if there's an emergency, I'm probably not the best person to call. If there's a leak, call a plumber. If there's a fire, call the fire brigade. If there's an emergency, call the person that can help you most. And I'll be here after to have a chat with you about it and whatever. But I'm not the person you need to be calling in an emergency. And that made me think, there's a point there. What?
There was a time when we didn't even have, I remember my parents, we didn't have a landline telephone till I was 17. I think back to so people would have to knock on your door or call around, and it's just crazy, isn't it?
How weird is it?
We're addicted, aren't we, to it? That's the problem, and we just don't think life can carry on without having the phone with us, or and it can quite easily. It's our nature now, because we've got so used to having it with us all the time. And it's just being brave enough now to say, no, we don't need it all 24/7, and to switch it off and put it to one side.
Do you think as well, there must be something ingrained in human nature where, that sounds very good for me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something ingrained in human nature. Do you remember when, before technology, and I mean, there's always been technology, hasn't there? But I think we're talking about the internet and emails. That you used to be really excited when you knew the post was going to be delivered.
Yes.
And you're always disappointed when there was no post. If it was just bills, you used to love getting letters or cards or a postcard. And it's that excitement. And in a way, it's the same with technology, isn't it? If you hear a ping, you're like, oh, that's going to be somebody commenting on my photo, or that's going to be an email, and I've got to see it straight away.
Yeah. It's designed like that, though, isn't it? Did you watch, what's the documentary? I can't even think what it's called. The social
Detox, was it?
No. I'm sure someone who's watching will have seen it. But it's basically showing that that's designed to keep us hooked in, the pings, the likes, all of that. It gives us a dopamine hit, and it makes us feel good. There's a lot to say, I think, about when about that sort of validation that we get by putting something out there that everybody loves. We create this echo chamber of like, it's just yes, you're great. That's I think that's a really hard thing when you create something like a vlog and you put it out there. It is so lovely to get all the lovely comments, but I'm also really like, Lisa, it's okay if people don't like you. That's absolutely fine too. They don't need to
anybody not like you, Lisa?
Well, there's some people in the world, would you believe? Some people in the world think I'm a tad annoying. That's all right.
Tad annoying.
But that's okay. That's okay. That people can watch and think, that's not for me. I'm all right with that. So, but it's very easy, when you receive all this lovely feedback, which I love, but that you then start needing it as the validation for you to show up and create something. I'm just aware of that.
When I create art and I'll post a picture on or a photograph and I'll say, and I'm constantly, people are saying nice things about it. It just gives you that confidence, doesn't it, really? And that assurance. And Anthony sometimes jokes that I'm so needy. Because if I put something on, he's like, oh, you're so needy. It's like, but I think we all are, aren't we? I think we all pray. We all crave that praise. But I think that's from school, isn't it? And parents and the way we're brought up. It's like, you've done really well, you've done a good job, and it's that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, can I just say, we have a winner with the pickups, 110 pickups. Motorhomers are us, but it does include the iPad as well, which is good. So Deborah's saying she agrees. I'm not sure on what bit, because I've rattled on for a bit. Jackie's like, hello, a bit late to the party. It doesn't matter, Jackie, you are welcome. Now, here's a really good point. I wonder if being online so much has made people more hostile and aggressive in real life. What do you think?
Because they don't know how to communicate with each other. And so people just automatically just jump on whatever's said, and they don't think about it and calmly talk about things and come into proper conversation to hear each other's points of view and everything anymore. It's just rammed straight down, and purely because people don't know how to have a civilized conversation and listen to each other.
I tell you what I've seen online over, Brexit, politics, COVID, any issue really, that any big issue is what you tend to get is the polarization. You know, you have this camp and then you have this camp, and this camp is like, it's almost what I was saying about that validation. So the social media channels are really good at like showing us more of what we like. So they'll show us more of people that agree with us.
Yeah.
And then, you know, same as over here. So you, in your world, it just reaffirms your belief. It reaffirms that everyone believes that. It reaffirms that you're right. And I think that's the hardest thing, because once you're right and they're wrong, then you get this clash that you see online where someone's like, this is right, and they're like, no, this is right. And there's no, well, you know, in the middle. It's polarization. And I think that makes people very hostile and aggressive, because they feel that their opinion's right, and they take that out into the world with them as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great point, that is. So
yeah, politics and news, it can cause so many fallouts, can't it? And I think it's so easy to get online, you know, with Brexit, you know, it's just, you'd see friends' opinions and it just caused so much argument amongst friends. And I know people who sort of fell out over it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they feel they have to defend being right. And if they're right and someone doesn't agree, the other people are wrong. There's no winners there, I don't think.
No.
Deborah says, I went out Saturday with hubby and my daughter and her partner, and at one point they were all sat there on their phones. Life is so different now. Yeah, I've experienced that, and actually I've done that too. I've been out and been on my phone, and I have a company which is all about face-to-face communication. Oh, I feel guilt. Oh, the guilt I feel. So it's terrible.
Think about it, Lisa. These companies are making millions of dollars from us being online, spending time on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. So it's in their benefit to get us all addicted, isn't it?
That is exactly what that documentary showed. I'm sure it was like The Social Experiment or something like that, but it was a great one. Carol says text messages can be misconstrued so easily because we cannot see the person and have eye contact or facial expression. I prefer video messaging. I've got to say it is better for that. You can see a person and so much can be misconstrued. Jackie says, love a bit of tech. Me too, Jackie. It allows a quick check-in with people when time doesn't allow. However, nothing better than planning a face-to-face chat. That's true. Deborah saying, I love a good old-fashioned conversation over a cuppa and a piece of cake. There is nothing like it. So I used to say coffee, cake, conversation. It's like a holy trinity. That is what I need in my life. With that, I am set. And Sue also agrees with Deborah on that one, and so does Carol. Deborah says, I think all this texting and social media causes me anxiety for sure. You're not alone there, Deborah. I think what we've just said is exactly the same. That feeling of having to get back to people, of always being there saying the right thing. Jackie says absolutely no driving and phones. It's just not worth it. Carol says also you can be made to feel really stupid if you can't use technology correctly, and that goes back to what we were saying right at the beginning about that alienation and like not being, you know, not being up to speed with technology, and that's just not right that people feel that way.
No.
Oh, narrowboat pirate. Oh, Lisa, we love watching you every Sunday morning. You bring us joy. We love your giggles. Oh, that's so kind of you. That's exactly what I was saying. It's like validation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Makes us feel good. Social media has its good points. Without it, we wouldn't have met the lovely Paul and had a lovely chat and coffee with him. So yeah, great. Jackie says people are hostile as they are not face to face, so confrontation is so easy. Yeah, I think we've all experienced that whole, especially being on YouTube, that whole keyboard warrior that tells you exactly what they think and doesn't hold back. Your undivided, I'm going to show this comment. I haven't read it all yet, but it looks interesting. Your undivided attention by the Centre for Humane Technology is a great podcast by the folks who made the documentary Lisa was referring to, Social Dilemma. That was what it was called. That is brilliant. I'll have a listen to that. That is fantastic. We'll make a note of that. And when I actually get round to writing the show notes, I'll put that in there. But yes, Social Dilemma. Thank you for that.
I'll listen to that.
Yeah, that looks good. There's so many comments. I don't think we're going to get through them all, but someone's just said, look at the people on a bus, and 80 to 90% are on their phones. The dangers fallout of misinformation, the propaganda is a global mental health crisis. So, yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's Nikki who's made all those really insightful comments. Thank you, Nikki. That is brilliant. So watch out. Watch the one called The Secret on Netflix. It's eye-opening, says Elizabeth. So many lovely comments there. So many. And I feel bad now not being able to get back to everybody. See, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's
good that they can reach out to us, isn't it?
Yeah. Excellent. And I've just checked the time, and we're going to have to go soon, and I still feel like there's so much to say about technology.
I thought we'd run out of conversation, but we've not even touched on the positives of technology. Which for me, during lockdown, I learned courses, I expanded my knowledge, I improved my art. It gave me time to do that, and also learn how to edit videos and make YouTube videos. And so it can be a wonderful thing, technology. I think we all agree on that.
Absolutely. I agree completely. I mean, I've learned so much on YouTube. If ever I want to do something, YouTube, how to, whatever. And there's always someone that's put a video on there. So much to learn. I think you hit the nail on the head, Paul, about 15 minutes ago when you said it's up to us. It's our responsibility to control the technology, not let the technology control us. So is there anything we want to try? And I know, we haven't talked about this, but is there anything with technology that we're going to try in the week coming that we can report back next week? Have you got any ideas? Go on, Paul.
Definitely. I've downloaded a few courses from a company called Domestica. So I'm going to spend some time doing that and enjoying my art. And to do that, I'm going to take my mobile phone and charge it and put it on silent in the bedroom and only check on it in my lunch break, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. That's good. Maxine, have you got any ideas about next week?
Definitely, especially when I looked at and saw how many times I've picked it up, because I didn't know that was on there until you said today. I've seen the screen time, but not that. So I'm that's it. It's going down to half. I've got to get that down to 50. And so I'm going to consciously just leave it on the side and not keep picking it up and see how I can do it. And I'll report back next Wednesday.
Well, what I'm going to do, and I almost don't want to say it because it's like, so what I'm going to do is I am going to set some time to manage, if you like, to interact on different social media platforms. And then I'm not going to do it on my phone, just on my laptop, going to time it. And then I'm going to not do that. In fact, I'm going to delete the apps off my phone.
Oh, wow.
Brave move.
I'm not that brave.
No.
I'll let you know how it goes next week.
Yeah. I think I need to spend, because our mobile phones can be used for so many things, email, texting, but I use it as a camera. So I always take it out with me to do some filming, but maybe I should leave my phone and just take my normal camera out with me.
Yeah. I use a separate camera for filming,
Yeah.
and I would always rather pick up my camera rather than my phone.
Yeah.
So, just because I love having my camera with me at all times, because I'm like that at all times. So I know that's when it's difficult, isn't it? When you use it for another purpose, because it's so easy to
you're so reliant on it.
have a look. If you get time this week, check out that documentary, The Social Dilemma, because it was a really good watch, because I'd love to see what you think of it. Yeah. The Social Dilemma. Thanks, Nikki, for that. And let us know what you think once you've watched it. So I feel like we got homework. I feel like I feel like we really need to do this, and we got a report back next week. So it'll be interesting. We haven't decided what we're going to talk about next week.
No.
So we haven't. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll decide, and then we'll put it on Facebook.
All across social media.
All over social media.
Oh man, we're doomed. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for watching, commenting, taking part. We really do appreciate it. It is my highlight of the week, and I know Paul and Maxine, you love it too as well.
I do.
So thank you for being here. If you're listening to this over the next few days, thank you for listening. Please do comment, and we will get back to you, like in an appropriate time when I'm managing comments.
Mine between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m.
Yeah. Right, take care, everyone. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.